Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordnance. You know, there's an old saying and it goes something like this: we've come a long way, baby. And that's kind of the precursor for today's video. So this was the first AR I ever bought, and it's an M4 variant. It's made by Stag Arms, and this is exactly how it came from the factory, with the exception of a little different grip. It was rubber and a quad rail. Other than that, it is exactly how it came. And back then, all I wanted was an M4. I figured, you know, that's what our boys fight with, and it's good enough for me. It was somewhere around an election, I think, and things were a little scary, so I figured I'd better get one. We had been into ARs for a while, but didn't have, into AKs for a while, and didn't have an AR, so this is what I opted to go with. And frankly, not a bad choice, right? M4 variant, how can you go wrong? And it served and serves us well to this day. It's a great rifle to show newcomers to the sport, you know, the basics and how to get into it. So removable carry handle, the whole 9 yards, exactly how it came. So we went from that to what we use today, and that is my rendition of what a fighting rifle should be, or how I want my rifle. And that is this. So it looks quite a bit different, huh? A lot more gadgets going on, right? But essentially what this is an Aero Precision Thunder Ranch Edition. Purchased it complete as an assembled upper and an assembled lower. That's how they sell it. And you have two choices, and that's a 16-inch barrel or a 14.5 with their VGS flash hider welded and pinned. And that's what I opted for, the 14.5. So lengthwise, this is what our Army fights with. For those of you that have never handled or shot a 14.5-inch barrel with a flash hider, I'll tell you that it makes that 1.5 inch might not seem like a big deal, but it really is as to how the rifle feels and handles. It makes a big difference, at least in my opinion. The rifle is much handier, much easier to use, and I gotta always figure there's a reason behind it. There's a reason why the Army opted to go this route. So we've done our changes, and I just wanted to go through them with you and show you the AR we would grab if we could only grab one AR and had to hit it, right? So we'll go through it real quick, down to the sling. Everything is my favorite, my best of the best, what I consider how things should be. And that's not to say you agree or would want the same thing. I'm just showing you and telling you how I like it. So we told you the upper and the lower were the Thunder Ranch Edition. So what's so special about those? Well, first and foremost, there's no forward assist. If you've listened to Clint Smith, he says that he doesn't agree with the forward assist. Number one, he says, why would you want to jam something into the chamber that doesn't want to go in the first place? Why would you take something larger and try to jam it in there? So eject it and get the next one going, right? And I agree with that. Yeah, sure, we can all probably recall a story or something where someone had to use the forward assist and save their life, but you know, bam, bam, bam on a forward assist or boom, boom, what's the difference? It's about the same speed. So I agree, and he also brought up another good point. All AR rifles for the most part have a built-in forward assist, and that's this little dished out area right here in the bolt carrier. So let's say a round doesn't chamber. You put your finger here and you push forward. And if it's going to chamber, it'll chamber. If it doesn't chamber after that, you probably don't want to jam it in there anyways. So you got that going for you. So that's one thing that this Thunder Ranch edition changed, and that was actually a delete. The second biggest thing is, and you really can't probably see it right now, but when I drop the mag, you'll see it. There's a big hole in the receiver here. Well, what's that for? That's so you can reach up. If your fingers are a little short, you can't get up this way, you can get your fingers up in here through the hole here and clear a jam, especially if there's two of them V'ing in there, the V of death they call it, especially so you can get up there and get it out. It doesn't weaken the receiver really in any way. This is not a stressed area, and it really doesn't matter. It's not there for weight savings, although it probably shaves off a little, but it's there for clearing jams. So those are the two biggest changes as far as Thunder Ranch goes. Now, they do put their logo right here, and on the upper, it's right here above the charging handle. And it's nicely done. It's very cool. It's based on Aero's M4E1 receivers, which are great to begin with. They feature the flared magwell and the built-in trigger guard. It's enlarged for gloved hands. It's solid. The regular M4E1s, there's an opening here, a lightning cut. CLINT wanted that solid, so they went with that. Kind of agree, it makes it stronger, right? So the M4E1 also comes with a threaded pin for your bolt release, so you don't have to mess with roll pins. And they also thread the channels for the detent for the safety and for the takedown pin. You can put a little set screw in there, and it contains a spring, so when you take things apart you don't get springs flying all over. So it really makes for an easier build, and makes things easier when you take things down to clean them or change things, and you lessen the risk of losing those springs and detents. So just a nice package overall. And they do a cleaner look. It's just a little more angular, a little more modernized. Either will fit with a standard mil-spec receiver, either upper or lower, so there's no worry there. And there's also a tension screw to get rid of any wobble in it if there was any. Fit and finish is great as always with Aero Precision. I just love them. I think for the money, they're hard to beat. I don't think you can beat them in any way, shape, or form. Anyhow, I guess we'll start at the back and go forward because we've got some neat stuff here. So this is Magpul's SL stock. The actual, I don't know if it has an actual number. It's a Mo SLK. So it's just a little narrower this way. It's not as tall. Very narrow through here, and it's just small in general, and it just fits real well in the pocket here. I like it, and there's just obviously less to get snagged on. Easily adjustable, and just solid. Very little movement in it to begin with. There is a I won't say pad, but plate on it. And it's kind of rubbery, and it's gripped or grooved for grip, and just feels great. It has a slot here that you can put a QD in, which we did, and works out well. The only thing I don't like about it is the QD has to be mounted this way, and if you want to have it sling to the side, the butt plate gets in the way. You can't put it in straight like that, so to speak, unless we notch something out. So I like to run my sling where it's coming over like this, and it would be nice if I could move it up with that. I'll notch the butt plate out, and that'll be that. but that's just something to be aware of. As far as buffer tube goes, that is what came on the assembled lower, and it is mil-spec and it is Aero Precision, along with their buffer and spring. Now, where we really mix things up is we went with this law folder. So what it allows you to do with the push of a button is fold the stock for transport. You cannot shoot the gun with it folded because the AR platform relies on a buffer and spring. So if you were to shoot it, although I've seen some reports of guys trying it and it's fired and everything's held together and all, it is certainly not recommended. There's a little extension that comes with it here that fits in the back of the bolt carrier to make up the difference in space. It folds very nicely. There's a slight detent here that holds it in so it won't open up, and you just simply flip it open and it latches in. It's solid, it doesn't move at all, there's no play in it, and it works great. Again, it's not that you can shoot it with it folded, it's simply for transport or storage. If you were to put it in a case, obviously it makes it a lot shorter, and you know, it's not as noticeable maybe as a rifle, but you do have the ability then out of a small package to open it up and be ready to go with a full-size rifle as opposed to a pistol. And you know, we'll get better velocities and all that other good stuff that comes along with it. So that's the law folder. Those run in the 300 area, give or take a little bit depending where you get it, but a really nice solid unit. From there we go to the grip, and this is a Magpul K grip. I've explained these in a lot of our videos because I run them on every AR we have and pretty much every AK. It just makes the angle a little more straight up and down so your wrist is not bent up as much. Nice sandy finish, comfortable with. It's just my go-to grip. I like them a lot. We went with an Ambidextrous Safety, and this particular safety can be used in either the 45-degree throw or the short throw, and right now we've got it set to the short throw. It's just a little faster and I like it. It's just a really nice setup. As far as the trigger goes, we have a Rise Armament. It's a 434. I use those again on a lot of rifles and I just like them. It's got a super about 3-pound trigger, 3.5. Let's see. Let's check it just to be sure. I bet it's, if I remember right, it's 3.5 or so. Let's take a look-see. £3 on the head. Very crisp, very light. The most wonderful thing about this trigger is the super short reset. Let me see if I can show you guys. If you can see my finger here, watch how tiny a movement. I mean, that's it. It's incredibly fast. Just really, really nice. Great service from those guys. If you have any issues, which I did have an issue with one of them, and they handled it immediately. So good guys to deal with. We also run a Magpul bad lever. I run them on most of my guns. I just like them. I mean, simple stuff like, you know, you want to lock your bolt back. Well, instead of pulling back and having to get your other hand or doing it like this and pushing on the bolt release, you can essentially do it with one hand. You can pull it back, push up on it, and it locks the bolt back. Simple. You want to put it in the battery? Boom, simple. They just work well. I like them. Some guys don't. I like them. As far as the charging handle, again, Aero. It's their extended handle, and ambidextrous as well. Nice and chunky. Lots to grab onto on either side, or with both, and even with a large optic, easy to grab. Sticks out far enough, but not too far. I don't know if you guys, am I close enough for you guys? Maybe we need to get a little closer. Anyways, it works out really, really well. Upper parts kit is again Aero. They do a phenomenal job on everything they do, and no reason to change for anything else. I didn't mention on the K-grip, there's also storage in the grip here. As far as sighting systems go, you know, it always depends on what the use of the rifle is. So we have a DMR and we've got some other stuff. I wanted, again, a fighting rifle. So everything from CQB to, let's say, 150, even 200 yards if we had to. But that sweet spot, you know, between 7 yards and 75, 100 yards. And to me, that screams red dot, right? So why not go with what I consider to be the toughest, most battle-tested sight out there, and that's an EOTECH. It's not a true red dot, it's a holographic sight, so it works a little different. Even if you were to shatter the front glass and the back glass, you could still see that holograph floating out there. It's the standard dot with a circle around it, so it gives you basically your main sight in range, whether that's 25 yards or 50, and then the bottom of the circle, depending where you sighted it in, will either give you a 100 or 150 yard zero with the bottom of the ring. Plenty of positions and brightness. We went a little cheaper here. I didn't do the night vision version, but for us it works. Now, you guys may have heard me talk about getting a little bit older and our eyesight not as good as it once was. And at 100 even, it's starting to be a little tough sometimes. So I went with a magnifier. And this is their new version, the 44. So it's 5 power instead of 3 power. And it's great. I love it. It's crystal clear. It magnifies extremely well, just lets us get out a little further if we need it, but yet I still have the full versatility of having that red dot for up close and personal. We could have went with an LPVO, but we've got that on some other rifles, and frankly it doesn't give you that same open field of vision that a true red dot gives you, and you don't have to worry about eye relief with it, which you do with an LPVO, and then we can reach out with some distance. So how I look at it is, if your primary use of a rifle is going to be CQB, up close and personal, between 7 yards and let's say 75 yards, then a red dot is definitely your pick. But if you want it to be fairly decent out a little further, go with this. If your primary use is going to be 100 yards and beyond, by all means go with the LPVO, because it specializes in a little further distance while doing an okay job up close. But in this particular case, that's why we chose this. Is it pricey? Yes. But again, these are built like tanks. They never go bad. We've had them forever in different versions, the 512 and whatnot, and they just work. You might say, well, why do you want the extra weight of this? Well, the two combined are probably what an LPVO weighs, and this has a quick disconnect, so if I want, I can take it off, put it in our rucksack or whatever, and just run this until we need it. So there's options, pure and simple. Moving forward, I just threw this mag in there, guys. This is a Mission First Tactical. They came out with a cool series, everything from a banana mag to this shark's mouth. Not only do they look good, but they work really well, and it was kind of cool. Comes with Aero's handguard, the Atlas handguard, and this particular one has the full rail all the way up, and I've done them where we don't have the full top rail, and in this case I wanted it because we were just going to be mounting a few more things than we normally would, so I went with this. It's nice. The way the barrel nut works and the way it locks down is magnificent. The notches it has on the upper for no movement work great, and just a super handguard. Perfect width in my opinion, and yeah, just love them. They got QD points here and here, and I believe there's two up front. Yeah, here is one. However, we did put a QD point right where we want it, and that's right here, and those are Bravo Company QD points. So, barrel is a Ballistic Advantage, which is owned by Aero Precision. Again, like we said, the 14.5-inch barrel with the flash hider, welded and pinned, so we're over 16, the legal limit. And if you can see right there, that's the little weld over the pin. So this is not removable, makes it legal at 16 inches, but gives us the same overall length as the military version, which works out well. Their gas tube, everything is Aero as well. We did not show you the bolt carrier group, so we will real quick here. So in order to open this rifle, it's a little different, guys. You have to open the folder, and then you have to push down on the button that opens it and pull that extension out of the bolt carrier. Then you can close it back up, and then it's easy to open it again. Otherwise, this extension, as you can see, is sticking back through the law folder, so there's no way you'd be able to open it up. But that's the extension that makes up this space here, and makes contact with the buffer. So it pulls right out. There's O-rings here that keep it gripped in there, and it catches on that mechanism there, so if you do fold it, it can't fall out while it's folded. So that brings us to our bolt group, and I love this bolt group. It feels so slick just pulling it out of here. This is their nitrided bolt carrier and bolt, and they do make it in a phosphor finish as well as a nickel boron, but this is just so smooth. It cleans up exceptionally well and easy, and it's so smooth and quiet, just works great. The bolts up top are staked real nice. It is magnetic particle tested as well as high pressure tested. Just a top-notch bolt carrier all the way around. Can't say enough. Like I said, the usual lower parts group, except for our Rise Armament trigger, which is a fantastic trigger. So to put it back together, the easy way is simply put it back in like that, open it up. You do have to hold the button in because there's a little lever here that holds in the extension when the gun is folded, so you don't lose it while you're moving about. And when you release the button, it locks over it so you can't pull it out. And then you simply fold it back up and you're ready to go. that brings us forward to our handguard. So on this particular rifle, we were going to be adding a whole bunch of stuff, so we wanted as much room as possible. It is M-LOK. I love the way they anchor these with the cross bolt here, and they're just locked on and not going anywhere. The width is perfect. Really like it, and can't say enough about them. Aero gas tube, ballistic advantage barrel, which is owned by Aero. It's a government profile barrel, so it is a little thicker up front, but that's okay. It doesn't feel too heavy. The rifle feels extremely balanced. Without the EOTECH on here, it is so light and so handy. You'll really like a 14.5 inch if you go to it. At least I do. We started out with a vertical grip, got rid of that, just wasn't comfortable, went to the angled grip, and it works for me. While I don't C-clamp a ton, I did put the pressure switch for our light up here, and it works great. It's handy. I don't inadvertently hit it because most of my grip is done down here. Just works extremely well. As far as the light goes, we went with a stream light. It's not the most expensive out there, but for the money, there's a lot of value. It's got 1,000 lumens and lights up everything we need to light up exceptionally well. I like the way the tape mounts. They've got these rubber mounts here that fit on each end, and then there's double stick as well, and it mounts firmly, solid. I don't have to run the wire all over the place. The wire runs between the two mounts right out to the light. I got one zip tie here just in case, and works really well. There's a slot in the cap. I just don't have the wire bent in enough right now. It's brand new. We also used a short piece of pick rail here to mount it. I could have went with just the push button cap when using the vertical grip, because with the vertical grip your thumb ends up here and I can use it that way, but it's just more comfortable here, so that's what we went with. Before I switched to the magnifier, I had backup sights on it. I just haven't taken the front one off yet, so we're going to get rid of that, but the back one's off. Again, so handy that I don't even see the needs for backup all that much these days. As a matter of fact, any of the red dots, any of the optic systems today are getting so reliable. It's just something I'm not using a lot anymore. So we are saving a little weight, saving a little rail space, and getting rid of them. Not sure if I mentioned it, but we put a QD mount up here, M-LOK, and we run our Magpul sling to that. I like these Magpul slings. They're easily adjustable. They're easy to get your hands on. They sell them just about everywhere, and they work great. So we went with that. And with that, that is our fighting rifle. Not sure what it weighs in at. I'm gonna guess, well, 8 pounds maybe. Not sure, maybe a little more. I'll weigh it and I'll put it down in the comments here, but not too bad. Fully equipped, well equipped, and just outstanding. Does everything I want it to do. You know, a fighting rifle is, you know, a personal thing like anything else. You build it to you. You make sure it fits you. It's so much better when a rifle works for you rather than you working for the rifle. Make sure you make it comfortable, make sure you use it easy to use, and that it has everything you like and need without going overboard. I think we've got everything here that I could possibly want, and everything on here has a purpose. There's nothing extraneous in my opinion. Do we need a folder? Yeah, I don't know, but I like the idea of being able to conceal it or carry it in a smaller case that doesn't necessarily attract attention to itself. And you know, that little, well, I shouldn't say little, it's probably a solid 8-9 inches that we bring in, and not many people are gonna put 2 and 2 together if you put it in a case that's kind of nondescript or for another purpose. Certainly can fit in a backpack easily, and yeah, it works. By the way, the angled grip here is mag pull as well. They just make stuff that works. What else can I say? In our initial testing, the sighting system is working well. I did have a little trouble sighting it in for some reason with the magnifier. That was just our initial run, and we're gonna get out and do a little more. It wasn't as MOA accurate as I thought it might be. I don't know if that was me that day. I was having a hard time all day, or if I'm just expecting more out of a red dot and a magnifier than, say, a scope. Maybe that's the case, but we're gonna run it some more, and we'll bring you some video of us shooting it. I just wanted to go through everything on here and show you what a fighting rifle looks like in our head, put into reality, I guess. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully not too long a video, but we've certainly come a long way. Again, basically took an M4 and modernized it and made it useful, more useful, and certainly able to do its job a little better than a bare bones AR M4. And what that comes with, or where it comes from, is getting out there, shooting the rifle, using it, and then kind of evaluating maybe where some shortcomings are, or evaluating and coming up with ways that make it more useful, more comfortable, and just easier to use all in all for whatever, our stature, our likes, our habits, that type of thing. So yeah, it came out great. Wasn't cheap, but it wasn't meant to be cheap. It was meant to do the job. It was meant to do at a top level, a top tier, and I think it's there. Some might say, well, it's Aero. Well, I'm here to tell you, Aero builds receivers and everything else they do right there with the best of them. By no means do I consider this entry-level tier or even mid-tier. I'll put them head-to-head with anybody, I really will. It turned out great, it works great, and it does everything we need it to do, and I would not be afraid to take this rifle anywhere. And that's what we made it for, in case it had to go anywhere, right? We can get into details on each component here. If you guys want to see some testing or evaluation on individual components, we can certainly do that. There's a lot to be gone over here. We went over the EOTECH and the magnifier on one of our live streams, but I can certainly do a video on it. The lights too, you know, they're Surefire. There's a ton of brands out there. These stream lights, for the money, do the job really well. I can't complain. They have all the features and everything that you might want out of a light. So why not? Anyhow, guys, thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for sticking with our channel. If you haven't already, please like and please subscribe. Check out our website. Check out our Instagram. We got some cool pics we put up there. Just some different stuff using hopefully what is considered a little talent to put some cool stuff up there. But if you are subscribed and you haven't been seeing our videos, please make sure you go down and make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure that you've checked the bell so you get notifications. We've got some folks telling us that they're simply not getting notifications of our videos, and it certainly reflects in the analytics. So make sure you're checking that out. But other than that, make sure you check out our live streams on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central. We usually get on there for a couple hours, answer questions, go through different subjects and topics. The chat is a blast. We have a good time. Got a good core group of people over there, and it's just like hanging out with your buddies, having a cup of coffee. So, or drink of your choice, whichever you choose. Hey, stay safe out there, guys. Get to the range and shoot. And as always, Rockford Ordnance out.